This is the city of Vienna, Austria, here in Europe. Vienna has undergone several historical incarnations. From 1558 to 1918, it was an imperial city until 1806, the seat of the Holy Roman Empire, and then the capital of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. In 1918, it became the capital of the truncated, landlocked Central European country that emerged from World War I as a republic. From 1938 to 1945, Austria was a part of Adolf Hitler's Greater Germany, and Vienna became Greater Vienna, reflecting the Nazi revision of the city limits. In the decade following World War II, Austria was occupied by British, French, American, and Soviet forces, and Vienna was divided into 5 zones, including an international zone covering the Innenstadt inner city. In 1955, the State Treaty, by which the country regained independence, was signed with the 4 occupying powers, and Vienna became once again the capital of a sovereign Austria. Vienna is among the least spoiled of the great old Western European capitals. Its central core, the Innenstadt, is easily manageable by foot and public transportation. In a city renowned for its architecture, many of Vienna's urban prospects remain basically those devised over several centuries by imperial gardeners and architects. The skyline is still dominated by the spire of St. Stephen's Cathedral and by the giant Ferris wheel in the city's chief park, the Prater. The city suffered heavy damage in the last months of World War II, and much rebuilding was done after the war. Nevertheless, the character of Vienna as a whole remains much the same as in the years before 1914. Viennese Lebenskunst art of living has survived changing rulers and times. It is still possible to live in Vienna at almost the same pace and in much the same style as it was a century ago. The same music is played in the same rebuilt concert halls, and the theatrical or operatic success still stimulates lively conversation. One can drink the same sourish local wines in the taverns on the outskirts of town, consume the same mountains of whipped cream at Sacker's and Demmel's, and sample the same infinite varieties of coffee in countless cafes. Thick woolen suits and overcoats in shades of green, gray, or brown loden cloth and colorful dirndl dresses may still be seen. It is even possible for tourists and for others on festive occasions to ride in a traditional fiacre, the 2-horse carriage driven by a bowler-hatted coachman. Austria's capital has avoided many of the problems, financial crises, social unrest, urban decay that afflict other European cities. Its people enjoy an enlightened health and welfare system, which originated in the reforms of Empress Maria Theresa and Emperor Joseph II in the 18th century. A city of green parks with ponds, cafes, and playing bands. Opulent stores and elegant shopping streets. Banks, bookshops, and crowded theaters. And boulevards for leisurely sauntering. Vienna is an invigorating distillation of human energy and imagination. Vienna lies in the northeastern corner of Austria, between the foothills of the Alps and the Carpathians, where the Danube German, Donau, Europe's second longest river, has cut its course through the mountains. The city is situated alongside the river, most of it on the right bank. The Vienna Basin was a nodal point of ancient trade and military routes. It linked north and south along the Amber route that ran southward from the Baltic and linked east and west along the Danube. Strategically, Vienna commands the surrounding regions, which include sections of Austria's border with Slovakia, the Czech Republic, and Hungary. Lying east of the Alps, Vienna is protected from their climatic influences by a range of hills, the Vienna Woods Wiener Wald. The city's weather comes both from the north, the winds bringing cool summers and warm winters, and from the southeast, bringing heat in summer and cold in winter. The result, despite some summer fog and heat and winter snow and ice, is a generally temperate and agreeable climate. Throughout the year, the temperature averages above 50 degrees Fahrenheit, 10 degrees Celsius. Vienna reaches across the Danube on one side and climbs into the Vienna Woods on the other. There it includes the 1,585-foot Kollen Mountain, Kollenberg, and the 1,778-foot Hermann's Mountain, Hermannskogel, Vienna's highest point. The Vienna Woods slope to the river in for roughly semicircular terraces, with the Innenstadt occupying the second lowest terrace. The city has a mean altitude of 1,804 feet, but different sections vary considerably in height. A stretch of the Danube was straightened and confined in the 19th century to form the Danube Canal, a flood control canal parallel to the main stream that flows through the city. An island 21 kilometers long and 750 feet wide was thus created from former floodlands and was equipped as an all-sports park, adding to the city's already generous recreational space. The Livebable, a wooded section along the river, has, like the Vienna woods, long been a protected greenbelt area. Since the 1970s, the open spaces on the far side of the Danube have been exploited for apartment buildings and factories. Vienna is divided into 23 districts. At the core is District 1, the Inner Stadt, which contains most of the city's famous structures. Surrounding the heart of the city is the Ring Street, a circular road lined with grand buildings, monuments, and parks. Beyond the ring are the inner suburbs districts to 2-9. The many palaces, churches, embassies, and other buildings in this area are elegant, though generally less imposing than those in District 1. Leopoldstadt District 2 was the area allotted in 1622 to the Jews, who lived there until 1938. In this district is the famous 1,295-hectare Prater, formerly the hunting and riding preserve of the aristocracy, but since 1766 a public park whose amenities include a stadium, fairgrounds, racetracks, and many restaurants. Beyond another ring road, the girdle, lie the outer suburbs districts 10 to 20, which are largely residential. Also beyond the girdle is the vast central cemetery, where many great musical figures and other famous Viennese are buried. Districts 21 and 22 lie on the far side of the Danube. District 23 is at the southern edge of the city.